Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel Alpa Doshi for series of sessions on how to appear for Organization of Commerce and Management paper. We have already finished and posted videos of the first 4 chapters of OCM 12th HSC board. We move now to the 5th chapter, that is the chapter on emerging modes of business. And at this point, I would again like to draw your attention to, I'm getting extremely good response for the objective series, objective revision practice series that I'm posting. But I would like to remind everybody that there are 2 videos on chapter-wise weightage of marks, part 1 and part 2. Under these videos, dear students, if you will take your textbook and make the markings, you will know what you have to study from that chapter for your theory part of the paper. Okay, so the long answers, etc. A lot of things could be left for option. I've explained something called the calculated risk under that. If you watch all my videos, you'll get a complete idea of this. So please take a textbook, make the markings of whatever I'm saying, and then you don't need to refer back to the video time and again. So with this, I would like to share my screen and talk about the objectives of emerging modes of business. As usual, let me tell you, totally this chapter carries 10 marks in the board examination. So for 10 marks, let us see what are the type of objectives that we can. In fact, if you will see the earlier board paper, a lot of weightage out of these 10 marks was on the objective questions in the September exam. Like you had 3 objectives in the 20 marks, you had 2 commercial terms from this chapter. So, you know, kind of the objective part becomes extremely important. And that's why we are doing this series of videos. Once again, this chapter has no cancellations. All the topics are included. So please take your pens, take your textbook, and please make the markings so that you know and you highlight in your textbook. And each time you pick up your textbook, you know which are the important objectives that you can expect from this chapter. To begin with, the very first paragraph on the page on e-business, page number, I'll just tell you the page number where we are going to begin. So we have page number 95. You see the very first paragraph, meaning of e-business. So what is the full form of e-business? Electronic business. Okay, electronic business. Again, a one-line answer refers to the use of web, internet, intranets, that is within the organization, extranets, or some combination thereof to conduct business. So this is how another simple definition of e-business. Mind you, you don't really need to learn all of these, but you have to prepare something for what you get a question of answer in 1 sentence for 1 mark. And in case you get a 2 marks answer, like in the September paper, you had explained term or concept for 2 marks. So that's where you have this. All these highlighted texts can be put together to explain your answer on e-business. All right. So we see that here a very important third objective. It says the term e-business. You know, it has come from 2 terms. One is email and e-commerce. Okay. So email and e-commerce to put together, the term we've got is e-business. All right. So if you just combine these 3 objectives, you're getting kind of your 2 marks answer. You may elaborate a little more and explain this paragraph, how e-commerce and e-business are, you know, they're not interchangeable. Some people do interchange it, but e-commerce refers to buying and selling online, whereas e-business encompasses, okay, it includes all those businesses which are conducted online. So e-commerce is a part of e-business. So this is how we have this here. Somewhere later in the, there is a distinction at the end of the chapter. The distinction is not important for your, you know, exam, but the paragraphs which are given there can be used to write your 2 marks answer on explain term on e-business, or when you are writing your answer on what are the benefits of e-business. Also, you will be able to explain, use all these that we have highlighted for objectives. Okay. So moving ahead, if you'll see this, we have electronic transaction networks are different. It's business to business, business to consumer. That's all your popular sites where we do our shopping. So you have Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, all of these are the B2C forms. Consumer to business is another form. C2C, where you have your second-hand goods which consumers sell to each other, like OLX. So in other words, you have to remember these types. All right. So when you're doing this, remember, how can we expect this question? You have something called the odd one out. All right. So even in odd one out is a question even in your ABT paper. So under the odd one out, suppose they give you 3 out of this and there is a 4th wrong combination given. You have to choose that as the odd one out. So this is how you'll have to kindly roughly remember what we are talking about. Explanation of all these, is what is for a theory paper. We now move on to the next possible objective. Once again, we have started with meaning of e-business. Then you have benefits of e-business. We can expect a 4 marks short answer on this. Say, for example, you have benefits of e-business. Obviously, you're starting with the introduction, the meaning that we have highlighted earlier, a few lines, 2 or 3, and then will you start with the answer of benefits of e-business. Something like an introduction, main content, and then a short conclusion. All right. So anyways, there are no objectives we really have to highlight here. Moving ahead, like I said, we are marking the important objectives which have been asked in the past and a few more just to be a little on the safer side. So next topic that you have here is online transactions. All right. So once again, there are some repeatedly asked questions on online transactions. Let us say 1 mark you have. Online transactions occur when a process of buying and selling takes place through the internet. So 1 mark answer suffices here. Here again, you have the procedure, the steps, a very popular objective. The first step in online transaction is dash. All right. You may have correct the underlined word. Say, for example, payment is the first step in online transaction. Payment is underlined. So you will change the underlined word, correct the sentence, rewrite it as registration is the first step in the online transaction. Okay, in different ways. September paper again had this objective. So the next that you have, dear students, is about under this chapter, the payment modes. Okay, so there's not much of an objective on COD or check. Let us talk about net banking transfer. Please keep marking whatever has been highlighted. The payment is transferred from buyer's account to the seller's account electronically. All right. So we know this has also come in the chapter on banking. It's again kind of the similar thing here in e-commerce online transaction. So don't get confused between the two. Even in your chapter on banking, you have something on debit card and credit card. But here, this objective has been very popular. Debit card and credit card are popularly known as plastic money. Okay. Another September question paper objective is digital cash is a form of electronic currency. All right. So this came in match the pairs in your September question paper. So please keep making the markings. If you wish, you can even write down whatever I'm talking about, how this question had appeared in the September paper. Then again, you have the steps. Okay, so what are the steps in the online transaction? These boxes usually are a very good representation, and you can then explain this in paragraph. At this point, like I have explained in my other videos, you must know that there is a justify question which you find the answer here. The justify question is about how is online business easier, e-business is easier than traditional business. Okay, so that's this is the place where you'll find the answer. There's more about it in my videos on the theory of this chapter. The part on this of this chapter on outsourcing. Okay, if you see the September paper, you'll be surprised. The very first question which appears in the paper is choose appropriate alternative. This sentence has been given. And the answer is, of course, the options are given, answer is outsourcing. However, the same question paper also had a 2-mark explain term or concept on outsourcing. A mistake in the question paper, you can say. So the same question is repeated. So if a student writes the same sentence once again in that paragraph, he gets 1 mark at least. When you want a marks answer, you're required to write something, some examples like non-core areas such as sanitation, security, all of that. The company makes a formal agreement with the agency. They are paid a certain amount and it has benefits like it reduces cost and uses expertise of the firm which specializes in a particular kind of service. Correct? So we have this highlighted text which is sufficient for 1 mark. If it's a 2-mark answer, it will be required that you write at least 5 to 6 lines, so around 3 to 4 sentences. All right. Once again, you can write the meaning, you can write definition, you can write examples, anything which put together explains that particular concept. So once again, no objectives on this part. We definitely expect a short answer or justify on this question. Then again, you have disadvantages of outsourcing. Say, for example, you get only a 4 marks question on outsourcing. You will have to be brief. You'll have to give a section, it has to be answer has to be say 1.5 full stack. So in brief, you kind of give the merits of it, give the problems that it faces, and then you give a conclusion that in modern world for people to focus on their main core activity, they will have to outsource the non-core activities. So this is how we expect an answer on this. The next topic that you have, these are again 3 new topics which have been introduced. Somehow we have a gut feeling that we may not expect a short answer on this. What this is becomes very important is for your question on objective questions. What is BPO, what is KPO, and what is LPO? So if you see a business process outsourcing, it's a practice in which one organization hires another company to perform a task. So every business organization, every enterprise, every educational institution has hired a security agency. All right. So that's the BPO that they're talking about. Okay. American companies have appointed BPOs for customer service in India. So this is how we have business process outsourcing. This is done for peripheral activities. So we're talking about non-important. Something which is not the main work in the company, the other peripheral activities which goes in running an organization. So that's about BPO. That should be enough, not much other objectives we expect. We now talk about KPO here. KPO is described as the functions related to knowledge and information which is outsourced to third-party providers. For example, you have your entire computer setup network in the organization, and the technology required for it, the latest updates which are required, everything which is related to the software of that company is outsourced to it. Okay, your own engineers are not going to look after it. So that is called as knowledge processing outsource. So you have outsourced this particular task, and you're paying them an amount. There is an agreement contract between the company, and that is the 2 important keywords. Please remember, it is related to knowledge and information that is outsourced. Again, another definition, allocation of relatively high level tasks. Okay, so it's not the peripheral tasks, remember, this is for the more important tasks, and that is why it is called as knowledge process outsourcing. The third that we have in this list, again, please mark the highlighted sentence for your objective. LPO refers to the practice of law firm. So whenever there is a legal issue in a company, you will appoint a law firm who will handle your case on your behalf. And that is the legal support services, and that is called as legal process outsourcing. So this is how we have the objectives here. If you will see that, this particular distinction which you have is not important in this. If you want to write an answer on the justify, you may find 1 or 2 points how e-business is easier. So it is easier to set, it has nominal cost, it covers the entire world. Okay, you do not need to travel and meet face to face. So all these points you can get from here. I'm planning to prepare a video. A lot of students have requested me to prepare a video on the justify question, which they're finding it difficult. So let's see. Maybe once I finish the series of objective types, since everybody's ABT tests will be coming anytime soon, or not only for ABT, of course, this is important for your final exam also. But however, since the ABT tests are coming anytime in a week, please prepare for all the chapter objectives, and we will slowly move on to other videos also. So this is again a highlighted meaning of what is e-commerce and e-business. So this is how you will be able to explain. Suppose you get a 2 marks answer. Again, the same meaning that we have highlighted in BPO and KPO again are repeated here. So maybe you can just make a note of that too. So in different ways, we see how procedure of online transaction. The first step is registration. Just made a rough mental note of these objectives. Once again, you can see this also for that matter. If you will see here that these are the answers to all the objectives, the type of questions, I'm sure with all that we have made the markings. Any one of these objectives which are given behind in your textbook, the different format, the different. So we see here that all that we have covered in the highlighted text in the chapter, everything is repeated here. All that you have, you must practice all these questions because it's really helpful to have all your points covered here. This is how you will be able to, the more and more questions that you will practice, you'll understand how they can be asked under odd one out, complete the sentences. You will see majority of these are repetitions. So this is how the question was asked, the objective questions that I've been talking about in the September paper. One more question that has been asked in the board exam is a case study on this chapter. If you see the question here, the third case study about Mr. Ved makes his payment by check. At the same time, Mr. Shlok makes his payment by internet. So there is a gap here. There's a text missing. So we have, so he is doing it by fund transfer. So if you see, if you are reading this for a minute, you might think that this is from in the question paper, you might think this is from the chapter of banking. But if you will read this automatically, you come to know that we are talking about chapter number 5 over here, okay, emerging modes of business. So let us see what the questions are. Whose payment is faster? All right, so your answer will be a complete sentence. Mr. Shlok's payment made by fund transfer is instant, and so it is much faster than the traditional method of payment by check of Mr. Ved. So then you have to put Mr. Shlok in a box. Your one word answer for this is Mr. Shlok, but you have to write a full sentence. Whose payment is related to the traditional business? Answer. Mr. Ved, who's making the payment by issuing a check, is using the traditional mode of payment. That's your answer, and you will put Mr. Ved in a box. Third, whose payment is related to e-business? So when we are talking about this, we will explain how e-business is done. Transactions are done on the internet or by the web. So you'll give a meaning. Okay, all the highlighted texts are enough to answer all these 3 questions, all the 3 case studies that you have even before. So once you've done that, you will be able to highlight whose payment is related to e-business. So Mr. Shlok. So you will put Mr. Shlok in a box, but you will write an entire sentence. If you see, girls, a very important thing I would like to tell you, you will be surprised to know that the particular September board paper on this chapter, if you see here, this is a September board paper, how the marks have been allocated. And under that, you see there were 3 marks objectives, 2 terms of concept. E-business was asked, outsourcing also was asked, and 1 case study of Mr. Ved. So the September paper, 10 marks on this chapter was divided all amongst the objective type questions. I highlight once again, please know first 20 marks of objectives. Explain term or concept, you're supposed to write any 4, so 8 marks. Case study, you're supposed to solve any 2, so another 6 marks. 20 plus 8 plus 6, 34 marks out of your 80 marks is on theory. So dear students, is on objectives. So dear students, please understand the importance that the new paper pattern has on objectives. And I hope you all are going to really make use of these videos and make it very simple for you all to learn and prepare for the exams. That's all in this video. I hope you have subscribed already. If not, please do subscribe and press the bell icon so you get a notification. I'm planning to post the entire series of objectives, and there are many other students who have always also wanted to they want me to do revision sessions on case study questions, revision sessions on justify questions. So please do subscribe. All along the next few days we will be posting videos on updates about what's happening in the HSC exams. That's all for now. Thank you very much for joining in. Please do watch the previous videos on chapter-wise weightage as well. Thank you very much.